upcoming artists who think that they need a style to become an artist, my advice is no, just paint. Paint, explore, try different styles, try different mediums, just paint. Paint for the fun of it, everything comes after.
If you're gonna start from zero and think about numbers, good luck. Honestly, it's not about the numbers at all, it's business.
This is the beauty of social media. There's a community that's being built there. The whole ethos now, it's about capturing a community that has a certain voice that's different. Welcome, our esteemed Gems guests. Thank you for coming on our Gems Arabia podcast. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you.
This episode is empowered by Valentino from its new boutique in Jeddah. Thank you to Valentino team for making this episode possible. With us today, we have Faisal Alkheriji. Thank you for joining us. Fantastic artist.
Thank you so much.
Really have your own vision of kind of merging an international aesthetic with a local heritage and really reiterating that, which I salute you for it. And Rek, really a gem who has changed the narrative on collaborations, changed the narrative on what is on the pulse of Saudi pop culture. Your art has become a local cultural phenomenon, and I'm not even in Arabic بيقولوا مجاملة ما بنجاملكم يعني. So welcome. Let's start by talking about the fact that this topic of conversation that we're having today is about, like, do we really need to be relevant? Is the goal to be relevant really proving to be successful? Should we consider walking by the beat of our own drum? Starting with Faisal, what do you think? I mean, is this necessary? Do you really seek out to do that? Or do you feel like...
So I would say I don't seek out to be relevant. It is important to be relevant, but for the right reason. So everyone wants to be relevant, but for something they are proud of, something they are known for, and standing out by, again, being known for something they achieved, or something they have produced, provided, in whatever, obviously, field, not just art, in whatever, obviously, any field. So I would say, everyone wants to be relevant, but not just for the sake of being relevant. You should be relevant for the right reason.
And what is relevance to you? What do you consider to be relevant? Like, is it being part of pop culture?
Yeah, being relevant is just, so in my scope of art, I try to represent culture differently. If I wanted to be relevant in that sense, I would say that I achieved representing my culture differently, but in a different style of art. So I did represent it in a nice way, unique way, different than what we usually see.
And what is the name of your style of art?
I'm not sure if it has a specific name or not, but it's a mixture of Cubism.
Cubism. Yeah.
I'm very inspired by Picasso, which is one of my favorite artists. I'm also inspired by Surrealism, and I love a few artists like Michael Goddard, George Condo. So I get inspired by a lot of these artists, and I try to, again, envision my culture, try to paint it in that kind of style.
It resonated on so many levels, especially when you're bridging, cultures. And it's not just cultural marriage that you're creating, but it's also a movement, which is about kind of reiterating this to the younger generation that you can reach that kind of level of excellence by applying yourself. So I salute you.
I really hope that's true.
No.
And I strive for it to be true.
It resonates. It resonates.
Thank you so much.
And,
it means a lot.
I'm not the only one who thinks so.
Thank you so much.
Plethora of
really
you're humble. There's a community out there that appreciates both of your works.
Really means a lot.
Moving on to Rex.
Yep.
So tell us, like, being relevant is not your goal, but at the same time, I feel like there's a very large young community that appreciates your work for the right reasons. So what's your point of view on that?
I agree with what Faisal said, about all of us wanting to be relevant at whatever we do. Being a child, you kind of always want to do something that's a little bit relevant, But when I actually started my journey, one of the first thoughts or one of the first lessons that I had to adapt and actually believe and live by is that I am completely irrelevant, And that really allowed me to let go of all of the, society pressures and expectations. Because the moment you just accept that, you might not make it, you know, and you're just irrelevant because you could possibly take the L, you know, is when I was able to actually become myself. So back to what Faisal was saying, yani, you want to be relevant, but if that's your goal, then you're probably not going to be, you know.
I love this perspective.
Some people become so consumed by being relevant and being trendy that they lose fact on their craft, and it affects their creativity to the point where that becomes the ultimate goal, you know?
Yeah.
Do you feel like now the landscape is ready for this? Do you think that, you know, there's more people who are changing this narrative, Faisal? Is the market ready to take on more unique people who have a different voice? Or do you feel like the market is maybe focusing on both of your established artists? And remember, we had a conversation, you were talking about how the younger generation don't have this kind of opportunity to be able to showcase themselves and to have that opportunity. What would you do differently to create this opportunity for the younger generation?
I think the market is ready. I think we have, you know, insane talent in this region. I think recently the market has been developing. The ecosystem of the art scene has been growing. All of the support from the government, all of the support from private museums, galleries, and so on. We have been having, you know, world-class exhibitions, whether it's the Benali or whether it's, you know, the local galleries that are happening. Yeah, exactly. So I think the ecosystem is there. It's developing. The next step would be, as we talked, is giving voice and space to the younger generation. Maybe these world-class exhibitions tend to be more focused on well-known artists, global artists, but then we have a lot of younger talent that is just not having the voice or don't know how to, you know, display their paintings or not just paintings, any kind of art, display their art in the right place. I think the next step is just giving them that space, the opportunity, the support system, the resources for them to showcase their work, whether locally or globally as well.
When you take inspiration, when you first started working, first started painting, you know, what were the things that inspired you and defined the fact that, okay, I'm an artist, like Picasso, besides Picasso. This first step that you took, how did it start?
So the first step was not, I don't think there was a first step. So as I mentioned to you, the art grew up with me as a hobby, and it has never been my job. So I never had the feeling that I have to paint. So I started doing it for fun. I would say when I was studying in university, that's when I got a little bit more serious. Only because I started painting and I started posting my work online. And then I got a lot of feedback on, oh wow, this is nice, this is amazing. That encourages anyone by nature. I wouldn't say I'm doing it for the comments or for the enjoyment, not at all. But that sparked, you know, the interest of, okay, this is nice. Maybe I should start posting more. But then again, back to the point of art is a hobby to me. I literally just do it for fun, and I don't have the pressure of having to deliver a certain message or deliver a certain piece. It's not a job, so I do it for fun. I do it because I love it. I do it because I enjoy it, and the process goes on. It just continues, you know, to be the passion that I love doing.
Fantastic. Rex, so your characters are very recognizable. Everyone can see it's it's a Rex character. Can we know more about how they came about and what specific characters that you choose?
Yeah.
How did they come to fruition? You know?
So actually, the first thing that made me interested in this style of art, of maybe having a reference point and a topic around it, is actually Keith Haring. And that's the guy who actually got me into art in 2013 when I first, and went to an exhibition by mistake. And then I realized, like, wow, this is really cool. It can, you can do art with like street style stuff that you think maybe you could do when you could have done when you were a kid, you know. So that was the first time I realized the power of characters from Keith Haring. And then with time, I created Rex as a reference point for the viewer looking at the artwork. And the character itself used to be a skeleton, like a skull and like a عمود فقري, like a spine, and just like a bone and like a skeleton, a proper skeleton. And then I used to paint that a lot. And then with time, I realized, I can dress him up, do different things, and then it became a whole character. But what it really represents is like what I was saying before. I look at life from the perspective of a spiritual being versus a physical being. Not me, but I wish I could be like that all the time. But my art, like when I'm in my artist hat, and like hypothetically speaking, the first thing that touches the soul is like your bones, So that was like kind of the rawest version of maybe my expression, and at the same time, like right now, like the complete opposite and hypocrisy of like being a spiritual being by actually masking myself and like hiding behind this veil, you know what I mean? So this whole spectrum was like what I found life to be, it's perception, it's what people think, it's how you can, it's like being a magician, So yeah, that's the story behind the character and why it kind of looks like a skeleton and now turned alien in a way. And yeah, that's just the story of the character, and yeah.
And then I noticed that we were talking about this earlier, that you use a lot of references, Pharaoh references. Tell us a bit more about how you're quite inclusive when it comes to cultures and diversity when it comes to your art.
Yeah, so to be very honest with you, I don't try to be like inclusive in a way, like I'm just kind of painting what I'm going through. So when I was, for example, in New York, my art was very much inspired by what was happening in New York and the people in New York's perspective on us Arabs back in 2015, 2016. And you can imagine what was going on at the time. So that was an inspiration. Self-realization was an inspiration, high frequency stuff in New York. Came back to Saudi. And then with everything that's happening, the change that we're witnessing, and a lot of people talk about some of the black and white stuff that are not the same anymore, and that inspired me to kind of just tell the story of what's happening around us. And it's not like I'm trying to tell the story of the people around me, because sometimes I'm just trying to paint something or draw something because I want to have fun, and then I post it, and it just became a narrative because it is what's happening around me. But it's not really an effort from me to try and represent a community, because some people enjoy it, some people don't.
Do you think that we are at a stage now where we can rely more on collaborations to sustain the actual art itself? Like this, mashallah, you're doing quite a few great collaborations. Are we at a stage now where we can say Saudi is ready to do major collaborations with brands?
You're the king of collaborations.
I think collaborations are great. I think, artists, I don't only look at myself as a Saudi artist. I look at myself as an artist. So if an opportunity that's international comes to me, I'm not going to be super excited because I got an opportunity here too, which is also an international place. So it's just like, I don't like to wish for things, and I don't like to wait for that. If you want me to be honest with you, my end goal is to be able to paint for a living, and just have fun. And then collaborations that come along the way is always a great event, a collaboration, because you reinterpret your work on different jackets, different sneakers, different things that you would never be able to do. That's what this brand or this person is an expert at, and I love to collaborate with people who are passionate, so yeah, I mean, collaborations are amazing, but from my perspective, I never realize what's happening. I do a collaboration and my art is, for example, on the track of F1, I genuinely do not put myself in the position of being like, yo, this is me. It's like, I actually don't realize it until the day was like changed. Like they took it off and they put something else, like, goddamn, like my art was on the track. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I mean, I think both of you have work that resonates on its own, and no one needs to say, this is your work. People can recognize it right away off the bat. You both have your own signatures, and it's recognizable. Faisal, yeah, you're inspired by Picasso, but like, what inspires you to become an artist? Like, besides the art itself, is it the fact that it is an outlet for you to be able to express yourself? Is it maybe something that take you to relax and maybe kind of unwind, or what is it about art that?
Definitely, that's it.
It's your
the
form of
very
therapy.
short answer is that's it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It takes you to a very relaxed place. It takes you. So whenever I paint, I just forget everything and I just paint. And I, again, it doesn't matter if the painting is good or not, as long as you're enjoying it. That's all that matters. literally that's what inspires me. Obviously, other than other artists or culture or all of that, but again, it's just the fun of it.
And what kind of advice do you have for up-and-coming artists that want to start pursuing this seriously? You know, are there obviously are a lot of workshops I've seen with the Biennale and mentorship programs and so forth. Is it must there be a specific style or a specific way of working for them to achieve success, or can any artist, sculptor achieve that kind of level of recognition?
No, I actually get this question a lot on the specific style, and I think even I don't have a style until today. I don't believe I have a style that is very recognizable. I think Rex does. He has, you know, the characters that are very recognizable. That's your own style. I believe I have a.
There's a bridge that you're creating.
There is, and that's part of the process of an artist. Every artist, you know, gets exposed to different art styles, mediums, different art styles, and then by time it gets shaped. I believe I'm in that process. It is getting shaped. Maybe my style is that, you know, combining culture and cubism and so on. But again, for upcoming artists who think that they need a style to become an artist, my advice is no. Just paint, explore, try different styles, try different mediums. Just paint for the fun of it, and then everything comes after. Don't paint. Going back to the relevant question, don't paint just trying to be relevant and focusing on being trendy or you know, following something specific. If you love painting, then just paint for the fun of it. If you love sculpting, or if you love whatever form of art you do, just do it, and then, you know, you'll get there.
What industry, if you were to collaborate with an industry, whether it's fashion or film, for example, installations and so forth, is there a specific collaboration that you would, ideal scenario that you would want to be involved in?
Again, so collaborations, I think, are amazing. They take you to a whole different place. I had the recent collaboration with Richard Mill, and we had the first immersive experience exhibition, and
It's resonated on many levels.
It did, and what it added to me is the other aspect of immersive experiences that maybe as an artist I wouldn't have done that, because I paint, you know, by hand. But then these kind of collaboration take you to a place where you wouldn't have
Out of your comfort zone.
Out of your comfort zone. So it was an amazing collaboration. Any type of collaboration that would take my art to another level, I would love that. Doesn't matter what sector it is, but as long as
The metaverse.
I have a lot of I have a lot of thoughts on it. But again, any collaboration that fits within, let's say, the brand image of the style of art, the messaging that I want to give, the positioning of my art, I would be more than happy to do it.
I think the kind of Artiste de Lumière is an incredible, you know, platform that just kind of really articulates.
Yeah.
I would love to see more of that with both of you guys, and I see that really incredible stuff, you know. But why not metaverse? Why you're not feeling it?
Personally, when it comes to my art, because it's handmade, I'm very much into handmade pieces because of the, you know, brush strokes and colors that you wouldn't find digitally. It's not against digital, it just doesn't fit my type of art. My art does not look good digitally, as simple as that. And I believe some digital artworks, you know, have their own space where they would look amazing. Your work, for example, looks amazing on the collaborations you do. My work wouldn't look as good. It's different. It's just different.
It would depend on the photography much more than a digital artwork. Just, you know, you just post it with the right dimensions.
But again, it's just different style of art and different executions of it.
Yeah.
I personally love very much the handmade pieces because of the details and brushstrokes and the mixture of colors that you just wouldn't get digitally. I have, you know, participated in some digital galleries, so I'm not against it, but I don't prefer it.
Are we to Rex? Are we to look forward to some really dynamic, progressive metaverse, digital VR?
Yeah, I love that stuff.
I can see all of this.
But
let's just say what's next for Rex.
No, I mean, around a year ago, I announced that I was going to do a collection okay, a PFP collection. And I actually did a one-of-one collection called the Halal Boys. Shout out the Halal Boys if anyone's watching. It's only 12 of them, so I gotta shout them out.
12 of them.
Yeah, so we did like a 12 of 12 collection. Yani one of each. And it was like Halal Boys, one from each, one representing each different country. So there's the Saudi Halal Boy, the Emirati Halal Boy, and so on and so forth. So anyway, I had fun with that. And then I love crypto in general. This is not financial advice. But I'm an NFT collector. I'm an NFT collector, and my whole concept is a parallel universe.
Completely foreign territory for me. I have no.
Okay. Well, just to keep it short, it's like my artwork is about a parallel realm, and I believe I can make it come to life in the metaverse. However, I launched a project, partnered up with some great people, but it was intense in terms of actually the community building side of things. Believe it or not, the art was figured out, the technology and all of the security stuff was figured out, but the community building and the amount of, like, it's like doing a proper startup. And I was going for like a community-based, like collection where I can interact with my collectors and actually build this world together. But anyway, so that's around a couple of weeks ago, I announced that it was on hold indefinitely. So I'm not going to be going there anytime soon as my project, but I'm super excited to hopefully one day, find the right team and the right partnership and the perfect scenario to hit the go button. And if it never happens, it never happens,
That's amazing. And clearly one has to keep up with the times, and especially this whole movement has become quite prevalent globally, especially with VR and even with fashion now, with artificial intelligence. And the road that it's taking is completely, I don't know if you remember, there was a cartoon, maybe you don't know, it's called The Jetsons.
Yeah, of course.
We're literally living the Jetson age, you know what I mean? And yes, I am that old. But it's crazy, like, the level of technology and where it's reaching. But do you think that there's a fine line also of how far technology can take when it goes to art, or it's an ongoing, endless process that's going to evolve? Are we maybe going to go back, go a few steps back at some point? Or, Faisal, what do you think?
Well, I think the technology now is scary. Like, I've been seeing all of the AI generated art, and in 10 seconds you would get an insane art piece that is AI generated. The technology is scary, to be honest, and now it's raising the competition too high. But again, for every technology, everything new, it has pros and cons.
Even photography, apparently now there's
even photography, yeah. Pros is it enables other people with tools that they may need for their art.
So,
yeah.
Cons is just having too much lookalike art out there. Maybe not art, photography or whatever it is, but it's just too much out there that just looks alike. But then it enables a lot of people with amazing tools that they can experiment with, and they will come up, I'm sure, with insane product or art pieces or whatever using those tools. So it has pros and cons.
But of course, nothing like the human touch and the perspective and
Exactly.
the experience and the thought that it takes to come up with a concept,
The thought is everything, man. The thought is everything. An AI generated piece will never have maybe the touch that I would have in my piece, and would never create the characters that Rex created in his art. No matter how advanced it would never get to the human touch of it and the uniqueness of every artist out there.
Absolutely. So you think that there could be a point where we would digress a little bit and take a few steps back, or khalas, we're going forward and we're not looking back?
No, I don't think there's such thing as going forward and not looking back. You will only have to do that, but you'll have to cope with it. You'll just have to cope with it, and I think everyone will just focus on doing his thing, and just being good at it, and the process goes on.
So we spoke about people who impacted you, artists that you like, but like, if you think of one person that really kind of impacted your besides the obvious, that really kind of made you want to become an artist,
It's actually not Picasso. It's Michael Goddard. who is an American artist that paints real paintings of olives and martinis and strawberries and so on. He was actually the first artist that I ever copied, and he was the first artist that I saw a program of. I think I was a young kid, and I started copying him. And I would say he was, the first artist that got me to start, exploring drawing and painting. I met him once, very
wow.
nice guy. I purchased one of his pieces, and he follows my art, my art account, which was, a big
Bro, that's
compliment
incredible.
to me. Yeah, because having such a guy that inspired you to start your work, and then
Yeah.
meeting him in person, showing him your work, and saying, "Look, you inspired me to do this," was amazing.
And this is through social media, or is it in person?
No,
or-
I met him in a gallery in Vegas that he was hosting. And I actually flew there just to meet him because I knew, like, he posted that he's going to be there for a few days. It was a gallery, and I flew there just to meet him and got a piece and got it signed by him.
That's passion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Amazing. And it's funny how, I say social media is a blessing and a curse, but it's also a great way for the work to kind of resonate and to show it. We have to give credit to that.
Oh.
Do you feel like social media has kind of enabled your work to get more recognition? Has it enticed you to do more work, or it's something that you're not affected by? Are you affected by the fact that it kind of reaches a certain community?
100%.
course.
100%. And I told you, when I first started posting my work and seeing a lot of compliments, by nature, it will encourage you to do more. Again, I don't do it to post, because then you will reach that level
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you're just posting, just anything. But of course, that support that you get, the encouragement that you get, will always, push you forward.
And you're building a community. It's literally, it's like, this is the beauty of social media. There's a community that's being built there. And I also think that the whole ethos now is not so much about, even with brands or what have you, it's about capturing a community that has a certain voice that's different. And I think both of you represent the Saudi that I think is relevant, and I think that is inspiring. I also think that the social media movement now is slowly shifting. Dare I say again, the word authenticity is where it's at. But what would you do differently for the communities on social media? Okay, we spoke about having mentorship programs, we spoke about having spaces for them, but for social media to be able to enable an artist to have more visibility, what steps did you take that you felt helped you get yourself out there, or you didn't care, you just happened organically?
I think just being yourself. And for example, like you just mentioned, you went all the way to Vegas to meet your, the guy who inspired you to start. These are the sort of things that people are genuinely going to be attracted to watching, to following. And yeah, like if you're going to start from zero and think about numbers, good luck, honestly. Well, like, good luck, it's not about the numbers at all, even though like to talk about collaborations and stuff, it's like once you hit a certain number, it's business. You know what I mean? It's exposure, it's opportunity, it's a win-win situation. Everyone's happy, but I feel like social media, I mean, for me, it made me not need any gallery. I don't need anyone's support. And, my mentality is, like I said, if I'm irrelevant, who's going to help me? You know what I mean? So that's why I have to help myself. So I think that all of the young artists who are...
should be aware of this fact, that they can expose, if they have a
do
style, if they have an essence, they can reach communities.
100%, I mean, and it's not about followers, really. It's about how many people, you inspire, and create your own. Because like from my perspective, when I look around, or when I used to look around, I used to feel like, damn, like I need to surround myself with like-minded people who can enable me and empower me to push myself forward. And alhamdulillah, when I came back I was part of a community in New York, where Sultan was there. And then when I moved back to Saudi... By
the way, thank you, Sultan, for the introduction.
Yeah, shout out Sultan, my bro. But then when I moved back to Saudi, I basically spent a whole year trying to meet the right people. And the right people in my eyes are not the people who will give you a wall to showcase your art on only. It's also the people who will, help be your support system, whether, when it comes to words or also when it comes to execution. Like my whole approach is like building a sustainable operation that can manifest my imagination. You know what I mean? So having people like To Design, shout out To Design, shout out AZ, Bod, basically my family here, who really, like literally when we go and do graffiti walls, my favorite thing to do is to paint murals. And when we paint murals, AZ is leading the whole production process from A to Z. And I'm there
There's also
literally
a fashion
assisting.
movement that started behind your work as well. I mean, I've seen a lot of, Rex prints. Sorry, I cut you off.
Merch and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so and it goes to my team as well. My team, and they help me, find the right people to, print my shirts at, to find the right blanks, to all of these things that I'm personally maybe not the best fit for, and because I pay attention to details like crazy, it's not good. You know what I mean? So yeah, for me, it's like you said, art is therapy. So I enjoy the art side of things. And then honestly, it's like God blessing me with these people. And without them, I wouldn't be able to do, I don't know how to animate. I have a team that understands, how to, we built this together, 2 years of frame by frame, understanding how the nail should look like, how the eye from this side versus this side, So find yourself a support system. Be realistic, and if you just take a step forward every day, you're gonna reach Durat al-Arus. You know what I mean? You're gonna get there.
I always look forward to special holidays because I know there's going to be something posted on social media that resonates from both of you guys. Now we have these signature questions that we ask, and it's called "What is authenticity?" So authenticity is about I've had this movement over the years. I've been a designer now for a long time, and I noticed that there's a lot of people that have been overlooked. The ones who are authentic don't really get to have their voice, and the ones that have the PR and the capital get to have their voice. So this is why I'm very much kind of into this. Gems of Arabia is about the shimmering gems established, and then also people that we haven't heard of. So this is why I'm very much into this word, which is what is authentic. So Faisal, what is authentic to you?
What is authentic is, I would ask one question. If you closed your social media account today and disregard all the followers you have, will people know who you are or not? If you say Faisal Alkheriji, will someone know who this guy is? If someone said Rex, will someone know who Rex is? I believe if people knew the answer, then you're authentic in whatever you do. And I also believe that maybe 90% of the people who are well known today are not authentic because without their followers, they are not known for anything. And it's a sad reality that we live in, where people are, known for nothing, or you don't know why they're known. And authenticity, in my opinion, is being able to answer that question.
There's an expression that I heard that says the new luxury is offline.
Exactly. A very short answer to what I said. The long process. That's it.
No, but the details resonate as well, definitely. Rex, what's authenticity to you?
I don't know. Being you. I don't know. Just being you. I know it's a very basic answer, but I don't know how to answer it otherwise.
It's very basic, but it's deep, because being you is, again, what you're known for.
Yeah,
being you is,
no social pressure, just trying to stick
Exactly.
to what you want to do. But it's very hard to not everyone thinks the same, and it starts with the thought behind what you do, so but I don't know, Yani.
Can I ask, this is not part of the program that we usually do, but I just have to, why Rex? Why the name Rex?
Okay, now you're gonna make me seem so superficial and shallow. Okay, guys. So the truth is, so when in 2013, after I went to that exhibition by Keith Haring, I came back, and I don't know. I always felt like I wanted to create this alter ego, similar to these characters, and so I wanted to come up with a name, and I was very inspired by history, and like I was saying, the Egyptian culture and the Greek culture and stuff. So I was Googling words that could translate nice, and I went to Google Translate sometime in 2013 and wrote king in Latin, and Rex came up. And I was like, all right, that's it. Rex, I'm Rex, you know? And then that's how it happened. And Truk is like a nickname of a nickname of a nickname, and I just pieced them together. And now looking back, I'm like, damn, that was great branding, bro. How did this happen, bro?
It is fantastic.
It was just being authentic, you know, going back to that. You know?
And it's very catchy too. Yeah, it totally works.
I realized, alhamdulillah.
So mega proud of you both, and so happy you could make it on this Gems of Arabia episode.
Very honored to be here.
Thank you for having
Indeed, you
us,
are
bro.
both gems, and thank you so much for taking the time. I'm admiring you all the time on social, and I'm happy that I get to see you in person as well. And look forward to many more gatherings, inshallah.
Inshallah.
To keep rocking it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, bro. Really appreciate you.
For upcoming artists who think that they need a style to become an artist, my advice is no. Just paint. Paint, explore, try different styles, try different mediums. Just paint. Paint for the fun of it. You know, everything comes after.
If you're gonna start from zero and think about numbers, good luck. You know? Honestly, it's not about the numbers at all. It's business.
This is the beauty of social media. There's a community that's being built there. The whole ethos now, it's about capturing a community that has a certain voice that's different.